Cage 60 on the 25th of November at the Helsinki Culture House. Live on Viaplay and Cage.fi. The young Norwegian super prospect, John Vetle Furuheim, is a world champion in K1 and Muay Thai, and on top of that, possesses serious wrestling and grappling skills. Now, the Wonder Boy will lock horns with the Swedish-Nigerian Wasi Adeshina in what promises to be one of the most fast-paced matchups of the evening.
As a fighter, I'm very smart. I'm also very brutal. I like to strike standing up, but I also have good grappling, so sometimes if I feel like that, I'll take it to the ground.
Wasi Adeshina is a superb athlete built for explosive stand-up wars. The power in his punches is enough to put a rhino to sleep, and he is often able to outpower his opponents in the wrestling exchanges as well.
Jag som fighter är väldigt explosiv, full av olika tekniker och ganska rolig att se. Jag tycker att min motståndare ser bra ut. Han är grym inom stående. Han har haft bra rekord, men inte så mycket mer.
I think this is the most tough opponent I fought yet in MMA. But also, on the other hand, I think I'm his most tough opponent yet. So I think it's going to be a very good fight. And also he is a hard hitter. So I need to watch out for his left hand because he's a southpaw.
Jag är nog bättre än honom inom stående grappling. Men alltså, man kommer få se liksom, för att matchen, man vet aldrig vad som händer. Så det är där vi ska testa vilka som är våran svaghet och starka sida.
This one promises to be all action as the Wonder Boy and the Nigerian Jaguar battle their way up the European featherweight ladder.
Jag är inte den som ger predictions på mina matcher, utan man får väl hålla ögat öppet och se vad som händer.
100% this fight is going to be ended in a finish.
Are you ready for fireworks? John Vetle Furuheim versus Wasi Adeshina.
To the blue corner, Wasi Adeshina.
All right, well, the ancient Mayans used to worship jaguars, and when you see the way that the Nigerian jaguar, Wasi Adeshina, fights, you can understand why. This guy can do it all. He came out of the gate, billed as kind of a vicious striker, and make no mistake about it, he is. Just check out his knockout finishes of Robert Nyström and Saki Kampari, and that will definitely back up what I said. But he's also really opened up his game recently. If you look at his fight against Glenn McVeigh, it was almost like Adeshina had become an NCAA wrestler. So he's really starting to come into his own, establish himself as a well-rounded fighter. And he has tattoos on his thighs, and I think truly sum up the kind of fighter that he is. In Japanese it says, or translates to, I will never give up. And on his other thigh in Arabic, it translates to, without pain, we wouldn't know joy. Those two statements sum up Adeshina, not just as a fighter, but as a person as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No question he's got a fighting spirit. And I mean, tonight I'm excited to see how does he navigate the striking of John Vetle Furuheim, which we know is, an exceptional talent of his. And then additionally, now that John Vetle Furuheim is in there with somebody who does have significantly, established wrestling game, how does he deal with that? Because as we know, in mixed martial arts, oddly enough, John Vetle Furuheim has largely been looking to take fights to the ground.
Yeah.
So this has all of the makings of a really exciting stand-up battle, I think.
Well, I mean, if you look at the losses that Adeshina has on his record, aside from one controversial disqualification that, MMA Sweden is still kind of split on, it has been
Wasi,
grappling that
Adeshina!
has handed him his defeats. Most recently, a submission loss to Deki Makalina in Cage Warriors. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he deals with the weapons that the Norwegian Wonder Boy has.
Yeah, absolutely.
To the red corner, John Vetle Furuheim.
Here comes John Vetle Furuheim, making his return to cage for his 4th fight. Last time he was here in Helsinki, he took on the skilled striker Hamadara, who we just saw essentially strangle a top Nordic prospect.
Yeah.
This is an extremely exciting fight for me. He showed himself as well, he's got all the accolades in K1. He's got all the accolades in Muay Thai. He's a world champion in both of those sports. But he's also showed himself to be a very competent grappler. And that is quite intriguing to me. That Muay Thai world champion, the K1 world champion, who then comes in and says, no, I got this too. And thus far, he has remained an undefeated prospect. It's truly an exciting matchup here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you think that, okay, this guy is a world K1 and Muay Thai champion, and then he wins his pro debut by a first-round Peruvian necktie,
right,
you start realizing that there are more pieces to this Norwegian puzzle than we may have expected.
Yeah.
And he spent several weeks earlier this year training at All Stars in Stockholm, Sweden, which is where Wasi Adeshina resides, however, at a different gym. And he was training with the likes of Baisangur Makaev and Felipe Lima, amongst many, many others. That is great company to keep. And I really wonder, did he perhaps learn a thing or two from some of the Dagestanis and Chechnyans at All Stars?
Unquestionably. He seems to be like a sponge when you consider how well he's taken to all of these very different but related sports. And like you said, he does have that grappling acumen as well. It's no wonder they call him Wonder Boy.
And this fight is brought to you by Rapuraya. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape here. As we can see, very similar stats in terms of height, reach, weight. There is a bit of a discrepancy in age, but otherwise even the record isn't that far apart. Very exciting.
4 fights though at this level. I mean, granted, this doesn't say everything because Furuheim, of course, has the K1 and the Muay Thai background.
Hyvä yleisö, tämän ottelun tarjoaa rajupaja, tapahtumien tekniikka ja toteutus ammattitaidolla. In the blue corner, fighter with a professional record of 4 wins and 3 losses, weighing 66.3 kilos, fighting out of Stockholm, Sweden, Wasi, the Nigerian Jaguar, Adeshina! In the red corner, undefeated Norwegian fighter with a professional record of 3 wins, weighing 66.1 kilos, fighting out of Oslo, Norway, John Vetle Wonderboy Furuheim!
I'm not going to mince words here. This is one of the fights that I've been looking forward to the most in the entire card. And if you look at the intensity in these two guys' gaze, I think you can understand why. Both guys very, very capable, both on the feet and on the ground. And of course, we have the great referee, Matthias Quidén, in charge of the action. This should be a banger of a fight.
Yeah, this is one of the fights that I've been most excited for on this card, simply because you have this undefeated young prospect who has been like a sponge, just absorbing all of these different sports. And then you have, someone with a bit more experience in this particular sport. And man, the tail of the tape does not lie. This is an exciting one.
This guy's somewhat... Oh, there we see Furuheim sort of draws first blood with that jab. And a kick as well.
Brutally hard kick from Furuheim. Oh, with a good uppercut as well. Let's see if he's able to take this fight down.
Yeah, there we saw some of that offensive wrestling from Adeshina, which, as I mentioned in Milwaukee, he has been working on. Nice trip there from Furuheim. But look at that, Adeshina gets right back up to his feet. But
yeah, with Furuheim on his back. That's not exactly a spot you want to be in this early in a fight when both of these guys are still dry. There's a lot of energy as well in that tank. This is a very difficult spot to be in.
Furuheim has been all around Europe training, not just All-Stars, but also a Great Britain top team in November last year, training along the likes of Brad Pickett, Ashley Grimshaw.
Furuheim looking for perhaps a Kimura setup of some kind. I don't think he's going to be able to get that. He's just using it to retain the kind of control that he has over Adeshina.
Adeshina trying to go for that ankle, but abandons it. And the Norwegian corner calling for underhooks. He obliges. You can tell that he is very, just such a seasoned competitor. Listens very closely and intently to his coaches.
If neither man is able to get the other down here early, I think this changes the pace of the fight. It changes the entire path that this fight takes. I think it becomes a striking matchup. But Furuheim is able to drag him down to the mat.
Again.
And once again, take the back. If he's able to hold on to it, again, this could be very, very dangerous for Adeshina.
Yeah, that's twice now he's utilized that same technique to get the first top position and then the back. Doesn't quite have the body triangle locked in.
No, I think actually this is the more effective position for him right now because it allows him to hook that right leg behind the left calf of Adeshina and give himself a base of support to hold himself up.
And if you're Adeshina, you might want to try and sort of get as much of his back as possible to the canvas, or at least get rid of that arm. Either way, this is not a great position for him to be in.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Adeshina's got strong legs, entire posterior chain, really very athletic. But here's the thing. You can't have somebody on your back without it sapping at your gas tank. You cannot carry another human being like this without getting tired.
All right.
Oh, Furuheim eats a right hand on the break.
All right, this is where it's going to be very, very interesting, the striking exchange. Yeah, there's one of those wild
Shakes
shots.
his head, no, and then throws leather, does Furuheim.
And look at that, Adeshina landed a jab.
Yeah.
It definitely rattled Furuheim a little bit.
Oh, big hard kicks here. Furuheim, though, biting down on the mouthpiece and giving him hell.
He's got to be careful,
goes for the takedown,
because
and gets it.
I mean, if you're going to strike in the pocket with Adeshina, that is a dangerous game you're playing.
Yeah, it's not one I would play, but hey, I don't have Furuheim's credentials. Furuheim once again wearing on Adeshina, peppering that thigh with a knee. He was almost not very good with the placement on that one because Adeshina moved his leg back and, well, that wouldn't have been pretty.
Yeah. I like what Adeshina is doing defensively. It's taking a little bit of time, but he is managing to eventually get the better of these grappling positions.
Yeah, and now he's in on the hips. He's got his hands locked, it looks like. Yeah, dumps Furuheim to the mat. Excellent work from both of these fighters. This is what I was interested in. Basically, when Furuheim has grappling opposition that is every bit as legitimate as his own offense, what happens? Does it become a striking matchup? And it seems it's a bit of a 50-50 split, actually. Each man having his moments in the grappling exchanges.
And
Furuheim
traditionally,
with the back. Sorry about that.
No worries. Traditionally, Adeshina hasn't been the biggest submission threat offensively, but we do know that he's adding new tools to his game every day. And if nothing else, his ground and pound is vicious.
Furuheim looking for an armbar briefly, but very, very short time with which to work. And this fight will see the first round end with Furuheim on his back.
Interesting first round. I can't, you know, it's really hard to judge as you're trying to commentate, but I wonder if perhaps Adeshina got that first round based on the strength of that ending position.
I don't know. I felt like the back control was a little bit longer for Furuheim. I think, you know, too tough to say.
Yeah, I'm glad we're the commentators, not the judge. Yeah, there's that body lock takedown from Furuheim, which he managed to secure twice.
Yeah, and also Adeshina stung him on the feet a little bit there. I think I see a cut on the bridge of the nose. I might be mistaken. Tiny little spot of blood, perhaps. Maybe a
little bit of redness at the very least. And there's that final takedown and some of that ground and pound. But yeah, I mean, Adeshina, he is a dangerous guy in top position. Just look at his TKO victory over Saki Kambari, where, you know, it was just brutal ground and pound.
Adeshina seems to be having some trouble with his shorts. Maybe taking away his range of mobility with the kicks. So he's rolled him up there a bit. Oh, Furuheim goes to kick up the middle. Nothing doing.
And Adeshina threw an overhand just as it happened. Yeah, he's lining that right hand from the southpaw position.
Furuheim goes to kick, and it was briefly caught there by Adeshina, who uses that point of contact to swim in and try and get a hold of the hips of Furuheim.
Oh, anaconda choke attempt here from
Furuheim.
From Furuheim, yeah.
Yep. It looks to be locked in. No, nothing doing.
And look at this now, Adeshina on top with plenty of time to work.
This is a very excellent position for Adeshina.
I mean, they're just going tooth and nail from every position. It seems very evenly matched competitors. Oh, look at that. It almost looked like Adeshina was trying to lock up an arm triangle.
Yeah, he was trying to set that up, I think. Yeah, I mean, this has been a tremendous pace thus far. A lot of action, a lot of activity, switching from position to position. Let's see how Furuheim is able to get up from here. Looked like he was trying for basically reaching potentially for a Kimura to see if maybe he can use that to get to his feet. But now, you know, he's got that right side pressed up against the cage. That's not a great place to be. And I mean, Adeshina trying to stack him a bit, really control his posture. And Furuheim gets a hold of an arm. Maybe looking for a triangle.
But look at that. The Nigerian Jaguar out of it.
Yep. Excellent. Furuheim, you know, is going to need to get up off from his back here. He can threaten with submissions, but I don't quite think he's going to be able to get one with Adeshina.
Yeah, I mean, for everything good that Furuheim is doing off of his back, it's as if Adeshina has an answer for every single submission attempt.
Yeah, at least thus far.
Yeah.
What I would like to see from Furuheim, get to the feet, see if you can establish some striking superiority. But, you know, it's very, very difficult with somebody as talented as Adeshina.
Looks like, yeah, Furuheim is trying to go for that leg.
Yep. Let's see if he's able to get it. Oh.
Oh, it's close.
Oh, he's also putting himself in, you know, a disadvantaged position. You should be looking for position over submission here, and now Adeshina is inside control. And he's grinding. Oh, that was a hard elbow from Adeshina.
Yeah, and again, Adeshina showed, you know, rolling with everything thrown at him on the ground. He really is developing and becoming much more well-rounded with every time we see him inside the cage. Oh, looked like he was perhaps going for an Americana there, trying to isolate the right arm of his opponent.
That's not one you see a lot at the kind of high levels, but let's see exactly what Furuheim's path to his feet is here. I'm not seeing it for him. He might need to wall walk towards that, you know, cage wall. Otherwise, he's going to spend the next minute and a half with Adeshina really just smacking the heck out of him.
Yeah, I mean, Adeshina could just chill here, picking off shots and holding his top position. So far, no submission has really been threatening him all that much. He's been able to get out just before it's gotten dangerous. And if the first round was a bit of a question mark in regards to who may have gotten it, no questions thus far with just over a minute left in this middle round as to who's winning it.
Yeah, this has been largely one-way traffic from Adeshina. Of course, Furuheim has threatened with some submissions here and there, but nothing particularly effective. And there's some blood on the nose there of Furuheim, it seems. I would like to see some more ground and pound from Adeshina, just because it makes it that much more decisive.
I do think it's wise, though, to pick your shots with somebody who is as adept off of his back as Furuheim.
Absolutely.
Almost had the Dagestani handcuff there, did Adeshina.
Good control of the hips here from Adeshina. Trying to make sure that Furuheim can't wiggle away, but that does limit his offense to one-handed shots. Short time. There you have it. I'm quite convinced that Adeshina took that round, no question.
Oh, absolutely. So it could be one round apiece, perhaps two up Adeshina, but yeah, that first round was just very, very close.
Yeah, Furuheim now in deep water here, so it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts to that. This is the first time he's been here in MMA. You know, let's take a quick look at the action in round one. A big kick, and then Adeshina tries to grab it, uses that point of contact to swim in on the hips, where he gets Furuheim down, and that's where Furuheim spends majority of that round. He ate a good, solid elbow there, and another behind it. Very, very good work from Adeshina here in the second round. Tried to get the leg, almost managed, but Adeshina was a bit wise.
And very interesting difference in approach from the corners here. Altan Celik of Team Mac in Adeshina's, you know, very intense, but kind of left the cage early, whereas the Norwegian team stayed very close and as long as possible with Furuheim. Third and final round in this featherweight contest between Sweden and Norway. Here we go.
Furuheim might want to make use of his Muay Thai here.
A little surprised we haven't seen that many leg kicks from Furuheim, because, I mean, if you look at the thighs of Adeshina, that's a good solid target,
Yeah,
and that would impede his grappling offense.
Ooh, Furuheim just kicked the shin directly, it looked like to me.
But look at that, Adeshina punching his way into the clinch position here up against the cage.
Yeah, it seems like Furuheim may have met his match in the grappling department.
And obviously carrying the weight of somebody like Adeshina, that does zap a lot of your energy. I think Adeshina might be the fresher fighter right now. Nice adjustment from Furuheim there, though.
Yeah, let's see what he's able to do with it. You know, I'm surprised he has not sought to break away. And, okay, he thinks his path here is in the grappling.
But wow, look at that. Just when you think it's a tactical error from Adeshina, he almost ended up grounded. Look at that. He picks out the right leg of his opponent and, yeah, basically has the top position now. Right in front of our broadcast
takes
position.
Away that hand, gets the Dagestani handcuff, has wrist control. He's trying to pull that back behind him. You know, Furuheim really needs to try and create distance, get to his feet, and make something happen there, because Adeshina is just too wise to these attacks on the ground.
Another.
At least thus far. Let's see.
Oh. Whoa, that looked close for a moment. And once again, Furuheim is going for the leg, but Adeshina wise to those attempts.
Yeah.
Back in half guard now.
This is not the path to victory for John Vetle Furuheim.
Yeah, for as valiant as his submission offense has been, it just has not been successful enough. He needs to work on getting back up to his feet.
Yeah, and I mean, it could be, you know, given an unlimited time frame, he would get one of those, you know, but that's not what he's got here tonight. He needs to get to his feet, and he needs to make something happen.
And for Adeshina, who's, you know, debuting Cage Warriors, where it's perhaps a bit of a disappointment, so far he's doing great here against one of the hottest prospects in Northern Europe.
Yeah, Adeshina looks phenomenal. You know, he's able to take him down, keep him there on the feet. You know, he was also having some successes. This is a very, very good match for Adeshina, and he has really, really just glowed.
warning of activity from the referee there. I mean, personally, I think we're doing pretty good at activity, in my mind.
Little punch to the forehead there.
And in the preview package, Adeshina said that he sees himself as better in both striking and grappling. So far, he's kind of living up to that notion. Just a step ahead in all these grounded positions. And we all know he's got power on the feet. There's a nice strike that lands for the Nigerian Jaguar. Oh, possible arm bar.
Solid little short punches from Adeshina.
Less than 2 minutes left now, the third and final round.
Yeah, with 90 seconds on the clock, Furuheim really has no path to victory here from my perspective unless he's able to get a Hail Mary submission attempt or escape to the feet and land a Hail Mary knockout. But that's that.
Yeah, the Nigerian Jaguar is mauling his opponent right now up against the cage, right in front of our broadcast position.
The top position, the top pressure, just too much for Furuheim at the moment.
Nice
and those
elbow.
little slicing elbows, yeah. He's got the nose bloodied. Oh, that one was a thumper. Oh. Adeshina really pouring it on here. Yeah.
1 minute.
He wants to make sure Furuheim knows he was in a fight. I think there's no question in Furuheim's mind, but Adeshina wants to punctuate it.
Oh, there is a last-ditch triangle attempt, but Adeshina easily gets out of it, lands more solid ground and pound here. And I'd said heading into this that Adeshina is by far Furuheim's most, or his toughest competition, and that is definitely being displayed here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And with 30 seconds, there's an armbar attempt here, but Adeshina swims out, and let's see. Furuheim trying to get to his feet to see if he could do something with these last 15 seconds, but I think Adeshina has just basically these last 2 rounds put him on, one-way traffic.
Final 10 seconds here, and it looks like Adeshina
tried to grab the neck there, but there was no submission.
Yeah, Adeshina is going to end this fight in a great position, and all things considered, however you score that first round, these last 2 have definitely been for Adeshina, and it looks like we might be seeing the first pro defeat for the Norwegian Wonder Boy.
Excellent performance from Adeshina, and you can see that Furuheim is very, very disappointed with this performance. He went to the corner, threw out the mouthpiece, shook his head. But Adeshina, very, very gracious in victory. Because he went over there and he said, hey, it happens.
Adeshina is about as honorable as they come inside the cage and out.
Phenomenal performance there. Really, really good work from Adeshina. Let's take a look. He hits him with that leg kick, then scoops under, tries to get a hold on of the hips. Doesn't get it there, but is able to kind of, I guess he actually pulled Furuheim down on top of him a bit. Furuheim tried to get the neck. Adeshina didn't let him have that, though. Then, most of these last 2 rounds has been Adeshina on top, going to work with short punches and those elbows. I mean, really, really great performance. Took Furuheim into deep water and drowned him.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 full rounds of fighting, we have the judges' decision. Winner by unanimous decision, Wasi, the Nigerian Jaguar.
There you have it. Like you said, Steve, Wasi Adeshina dragged his opponent into deep water, which is great for him because Jaguars can hold their breath for up to 10 minutes underwater. That's why they kill alligators in the Amazonian jungle. The Nigerian Jaguar is back in the win column, and he just knocked off the O in the loss column of one of the hottest prospects in Northern Europe.
Yeah, incredible performance. He does have one hell of a mat burn, though, on that left knee.
Wasi, congratulations. The Nigerian Jaguar got its prey tonight. How did it feel?
I've been hungry for a long time. I've been broke. No food in the jungle. No food in the other jungle city. I got eaten before. I came around, found a big buffet in front of me. I ate. I ain't hungry anymore.
You both showed us some really strong grappling here. Did you feel that you were in control all the time, or how did it feel along the way?
In the beginning of the fight, he felt very strong. But you know, once the Jaguar is hungry, it never lets loose on that bite.
Congratulations, Wasi Adeshina.
Well, there you have it, a guy sticking to his brand.
I just want to thank Finland for the great opportunity. I want to thank Cage Promotion for taking good care of me. I hope very soon I'll be back to produce even more and better craft. Thank you very much.
Wasi Adeshina!
Seems to have enjoyed his time here in Finland in the Cage Promotion. You'll love to see it. But I mean, yeah, that was a great performance. Shut out a top Nordic prospect in John Vetle Furuheim and had a really, really phenomenal performance overall. I mean, that's about as good as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times, it's not about how you win, it's about how you return from a loss. You know, he got finished in his last time out, that snapped the win streak. That could break some fighters, but it did not break Adeshina.
Cage 60 on the 25th of November at the Helsinki Culture House. Live on Viaplay and Cage.fi.